Apparently OBS crashed out and reconnected, and it looks like my league client just crashed out as well. So let me get that relaunched for you guys 1 sec. Let me swap to the wait screen here. Apologies for that. Hopefully we'll be able to get back into that game. Hopefully League doesn't forget that we were watching the game, because we're not going to be able to spectate it off of anyone on the friends list. You have to actually be in the lobby, in the spectator lobby, to be able to spectate a custom game like that, which is very frustrating. I feel like I may have pissed off some sort of witch or warlock or something. I don't know. I feel very much like I've been cursed today. Just generally everything is going wrong. But here, let me log back into the League client, and hopefully there is some small mercy in that I'm still able to actually get into the match. And it's launching into game, so it looks like we'll be able to get onto the Rift. Thank God. I'm not sure what that final pick is. It's going to be a mystery to us for a little while longer, but we'll be in onto the Rift very shortly, everybody. Give me just a few minutes here, and we'll be right back. We have gameplay. I used all of my many years of experience working with this pile of dung that is known as the League of Legends game client, and I finagled it into actually showing me spectator data. I had to relaunch the dang thing twice. I don't want to take you through all the specifics. It was very, very frustrating, and you know, I thought we had made it. I thought we were at the end of a very long, dark tunnel, and there was no light. There was nothing there. The light had been a train coming to run me over, but no. We have surpassed all the technical difficulties, and we are in onto the rift, and I am way too excited about this. But this has been an arduous night for me already, and we aren't even done with the finals, so let's get started. It is Mischief on the blue side, facing off against Supernova Promethean on the red. Their letters are up on the top there. You can read them for yourself with your eyeballs, and you can hear me talk about them with your earballs as we get into the game, and also get people situated correctly, because for some reason the AD carry is in the jungle spot. There we go. Alright, and speaking of junglers, we've got Asesh once again. He had a brilliant performance in Game 1. He was a presence in Game 1, last game. Game 1 of the night. He was a presence in every single lane for what seemed like the entire game on Rammus. This time on perhaps a slightly less map mobile champion in the form of Olaf. We'll see how he starts this game, as he's already got vision on the enemy start. Houston going to be doing a Raptor start, something you don't see too terribly often nowadays. It was popular for a few weeks back towards the beginning, or sort of a little after the beginning of Season 7. As Cortian is going to walk straight into the face of a Lulu. Thunderlord's proc takes quite a bit of burst, but does land some damage onto Sweet Pea. I think more importantly right now is damage onto the minion wave, though, because both of these dual lanes are going to be ferociously pushing to try and get an early level 2. And what was that top lane pick? It was a Camille. The pick ban draft crashed on us right as the top lane pick was going to be finalized. It was hovering on a thresh, which I didn't believe, so it will be a Camille locked in for Angelic Buster. 2 minutes into the game, we get as yes, we appear to have action. It appears to be going smoothly. And for once tonight, I hope it will not be interrupted. A dash forward from Cortian Z, he's landing some more damage onto Inkosama, but they do manage to just about hit all two at the same time. A good clean combo from Cortian does mean they have the upper hand in health and biscuits, at least for now. But I imagine we're seeing a bit more of a close match, though. There's the exhaust dropped, heal coming out. Cortian Z now below 100 hit points, but he's going to pop the heal at the last possible moment. Sweet Pea does not want to keep chasing through that minion wave, as well as the Nami, but a flash forward from Inkosama. He's got blood in his eyes, and it looks like it blinded him. First, the blood goes to Cortian Z as Cortian flashes away. Sweet Pea doesn't quite get the kill, and he's going to go down to the little splashes of water coming out of Fizzy's stab. So very unfortunate for the Jinx. Everything goes sideways for Supernova's duo lane. So very close, too. Even just that rocket landing. Well, it did land, but that rocket dealing just another 10, 20 damage would have been enough. Cortian Z would have gone down. Jinx would have gotten excited, and Sweet Pea could have gotten out of there. But everything that could go wrong did. Now, if there's any blame to be laid, I do want to lay at least some of it on Inkosama for flashing forward that aggressively, not only risking his own life, but also to some degree risking his AD carry's life by simply not being there anymore. Even if he had gotten that kill, even if he had managed to burst down the Lucian, he was not getting out of there alive. He was in 2 minion waves worth of minions. There was a Nami still very alive and very angry there with an Ignite. At the best, it was going to be a 1-for-1 trade, and that simply didn't seem worth it in that situation. Though, they were playing on a knife's edge, and as I said, the blood was in his eyes, so I can't wait too much. There's a blast cone away to safety, and Asesh also gets the benefit of the Crab Shrine, but there's still focus coming from the mid lane, and Asesh does not have flash on this Olaf, ghosted away, but Houston gets chunked down. Thankfully, Lulu Shield saves him, but not forever. No, Fizzy flashes forward, another kill to the bloodthirsty Nami. And now with the red buff, he's going to keep hunting for Sweet Pea, who does not have any summoners to get out of this one. Asesh does finally fall to Inkosama. It is a 1-for-2 trade, but Inko could be playing with fire here, turning around to that last auto. The bubble lands, but not onto the Lulu. As Cortians get the Tidecaller's blessing, but the enemy were already under the turret. An explosive game already, and already leaning in favor of Mischief, but I wouldn't say it's broken quite as hard as the semifinals did. There is a kill on the board for Supernova Prometheans that does, you know, put them ahead of where TJP was in this position. It's a low bar, but it's a bar they've reached nonetheless. And it's pretty much this top lane that is the only last bastion of peace and calm on Summoner's Rift tonight. We haven't seen any action break out up there just yet. Will be able to head on home back to base. I guess we're just waiting for the next explosive bit of action to break out. Inko-sama does have double buffs for a little bit longer, so that could lead to an advantage in the 2v2 for Supernova, but they're playing rather scared, and I think with good reason. There's a level advantage to Cortien's and Fizzy, and Fizzy's about to have that Ignite back up once again, so it's a very aggressive dual lane. Angelic Buster going in. He doesn't have a lot of mana to keep this fight going, but he does have a jungler coming up from the river, and that's almost as good as a mana bar. But Ustunned doesn't really fancy his chances against the full health Gragas, and is going to dash his way back out to safety. I can completely understand his reservations. That is a triple Doran's Ring build becoming more and more popular. I would even go so far as to say that it is popular among AP top laners nowadays, and it does allow for quite a lot of early game potency. Fizzy with only one buff is going to bully away Inko-sama with 2, so it's not the number of buffs that counts, it's how you use them. Meanwhile, mid lane, wave clearing. Exciting stuff. We actually did see some action already in the mid lane, but what is kind of exciting is that Focus is going for a very little used item nowadays. There once was a time when Athene's Unholy Grail was just core on the majority of mid laners, but nowadays you don't see it very often, but it is still perfectly viable on mid lane Karma, who can take advantage of the healing, and the reason why it's such a strange item is something I'll have to get back to as we have action in the mid lane. There's a Shockwave on to Focus, as here comes Cortien's from the bottom lane. A flash away from Focus though, and it is just a Summoner burned. Well, I say just. I mean, it's a Summoner burned, and that's pretty significant, so we'll see if any further action breaks out in the mid lane as a result of that. Angelic Buster teleports in onto a castle. And yeah, as I was mentioning with the Athenes, you don't see it too terribly often because it's an item that requires the owner to be both a damage source and a source of shields. And because of that, you don't see it on supports, you don't see it on a damage source, and you don't often see it on mid laners because usually you just want to focus on doing damage. But somebody as utility focus as Karma in the mid lane can certainly afford to build these. So I'm excited to see how well it works out for him. It is starting to get spectacular. The magic resistance alone should be useful in the laning phase against Queen. Sweet Pete getting bullied back, and this is quite a disastrous bottom lane to Supernova, as now Sweet Pete can take a big chunk of damage. Fizzy looking to continue to bully. Some interesting animation canceling from JLal. I'm still not sure if that's an I or an L, but I'm going to go with L. Making a hard read on that. That's a lowercase L. Waiting in the bush. There's the explosive cast, but hook shot actually not interrupted. Well timed by Angelic Buster. And Asash is going to have his plans and dreams of getting a top lane gank foiled. He's able to catch onto a Camille. Speaking of ganks though, I haven't seen very many use done. Attempt top lane that fizzled out. Potentially something here mid lane as HS comes in, but there's the Sonic Wave Resonating Strike. HS chunked to half, but there's not much to follow it. I wouldn't so much call that a gank as guard duty. Showing up where he was needed at the right time. Certainly valuable. But I'd like to see a little bit more proactive play from this Lee Sin, given the work that he is on Lee Sin. And it's just such a great champion for that sort of playstyle. He's not really busy. It's early days yet, though, as we are just now breaking the 10-minute mark. But even at the 10-minute mark, Mischief Esports are sporting something of a lead for themselves. Back to the bottom side, Cortien's getting good damage onto Inko. Good sidestep from both Inko and Sweet Pete, though, as the enemy wave does not find a mark. Cortien's will take a rocket on the way out. Explosively tickling him. It's about a 2 to 3K gold for Mischief. While this may not be quite as dominant as their semi-final match, it's still solid for them. Cortien's going to be pulling an exhaust with his aggression. Playing fast and loose, only with a few hundred health to his name, but does still have both summoners, so pretty dang confident. The main worry, I'd say, is that he's almost out of mana here, so he's probably got enough left in the tank to go for one more trade if he'd like, but that's about it. Maybe that one more trade will be the one that matters, as we've got Olaf on the bottom side. Angelic Buster going to be flash body slammed on. There's the full combo, and Lee Sin is Here around the side, we'll see if he can get some revenge. Beautiful sidestep from J-Lao, and he's going to simply walk on out of there, dropping the ult for some disengage. Meanwhile, Sweet Pete and Inko bullied away from their own turret. And this may be first brick going over to Mischief, as Inko has to back even further away, along with Sweet Pete. And this turret is already nearly crumbled, so it'll be an easy few hundred gold for the team. You have to wonder where the hope now lies to the side of Supernova Promethean. Maybe it's here in the mid lane where Focus is landing a pretty good snare onto Queen of Reverie. Flash into the bush to try and break through with U-Stun. U-Stun now sped forward. He does land the Q, but Asash is waiting around the corner, and so is Fuzzy. Or Fizzy. Fizzy Fuzzy. Who was he? I don't know. As the strength certainly appears to be on the bottom side of the map here. Mischief, but Supernova are looking for a play of their own. Fizzy going to be healing his way out of there. A good bubble onto the Lee Sin, and he will blast cone his way to safety, I assume. Yeah, there he goes, over the wall. Stalling him out a little bit. There's a shockwave now as Lee Sin follows it up with a kick of his own. Queen of Zeri tossing against the wall, but no, he turns around. He has the burst to flash forward from Inko. He does manage to trade 1-for-1, but now Asash is going to chase after him. He cannot be disabled. He cannot be stopped. Ragnarok is going to find its victim. And it's in the form of a tiny little pixie lady. Focus, though, turning back around. He's getting some good damage down. Actually, he could potentially turn this. Fizzy going very low. Focus looking to keep the fight going. There's the zap from the side, but it doesn't land. Chomps come down. Sweet Pete now just needs a few more autos, but he whips on one. He flashes away from another. The ult doesn't finish it. The heal comes through from CoreTNC. Now he's looking for some kills. He finds one, but he doesn't chase the second. 8-2 now. Disaster in a series of mid lane plays as Angelic Buster has to back away. J-Lao has complete control of topside and almost 20 CS lead. The fight's mid lane looks so potentially good for Focus. But Sweet Pete with that whiffed auto, so close. I don't know if that one auto would have been enough to kill the Olaf, but might have been. And that's gonna have to haunt him for the rest of the game. Fancy moves from U-Stun, but CoreTNC does not seem phased. He's gonna get a good chunk into Inko-sama. Maybe he's going to do some damage from this turret. He's hanging out in the mid lane. A little bit dangerous to be that far up. We'll back up. Yeah, even this matchup that I anticipated potentially going in favor of the Camille, she's pretty good at shredding tanks in lane, has fallen so far to the Dragons, who went with that really potent early start of Triple Doran's Ring, and it seems like Angelic Buster just wasn't able to match it. Dragon going over to the Olaf is yet another advantage for Mischief. Thankfully, for the side of SMP, only a Air Drake, but clowns are still quite useful. They'll get them around the map a little bit more quickly. And if that last Ramicade is anything to go by, he's quite moving fast. Interesting play from Inko. I mean, they had vision on that push. I don't think he approached it. Small, very small misplay, but a misplay nonetheless. And that's the sort of thing, you know, that can build up over the course of a game, and it's also telling, perhaps, of just a level of particular tilt on these players. But look at that action on the top side. The ulti actually gets dodged. Beautiful Hextech ultimatum from Angelic Buster, but he has to leave the ring, and thus the Gragas is allowed to as well. So much burned, just holding even, and now they're going to give up their jungler. U-Stun goes down, and the dive is on. Here comes the Nami wave. It will be landing on the Focus. A great big slow, followed by a body blast from Jalal. That should be the name of the ability. That really should be. Jalal is so far ahead now on this Gragas, he does not body slam. The man body blasts. He blasts him. But there's another turret falling. 2-0 turret lead. 7K, if I'm doing my math right, up in terms of gold. Mischief Esports may not have been as bombastic, as loud, as explosive this game, but they are certainly just as ahead as they were in their semis. And they are looking in fine fighting form. Good polymorph from Inko, but I don't think it'll be enough to save his AD carry's life. He's going to body block a few bullets from the calling. CoreTNC gets exhausted. He doesn't want to keep diving. There's the ulti, the turnaround. Sweet Pete gets one back. Well done. Inko playing that beautifully. The polymorph delayed the Lucian burst so very well, and then the hero move, get down, Mr. President, who gets in front of Sweet Pete, and he blocks a good 5 or 6 bullets. You think a bodyguard jumping in front of the president, blocking 1 bullet is a hero? I mean, give Inko-sama a Medal of Honor. Okay. Give him a whole pile of them. He blocked like at least 15 bullets. It's a lot. Angelic Buster's going to swap to the bottom lane, though. No longer really able to match this. Gragas is going to try and pick up the slack somewhere else on the map. Houston looking very aggressively for an invade. Very aggressively. Considering the situation the team is in right now. He's going to get chased away from the enemy red. His focus gets donated for less of And returning to an earlier point, Focus has completed that, Athene's Unholy Grail that I was mentioning. So let's see how all that pans out. It's another source of healing. They've thrown a lot of eggs into the keep the Jinx alive basket. So one thing that I can say about Superman that I couldn't really say about the semi-final and Mischief with this far ahead is that they have a way back into this game. They have a competition that can do a really good job of protecting their Jinx and rallying around Sweet Pea. So it does put a lot of responsibility on Sweet Pea, a lot of onus on the AD carry to pull through for the team. And there's a two-man shockwave. The Rift Herald is joining the fray, and already one goes down. Supernova scattered to the winds, but their turret is forfeit. It doesn't look like Mischief want to stop the push here, but they may be losing their AD carry. No, the heal as he gets kicked over the wall, but Focus claims the kill, and Empowered Q lands on two. One of them, the low health AD carry, a beautiful snipe from Sweet Pea. This is not actually looking that bad for Supernova. JLao getting chased away by Angelic Buster, who has now completed a few pieces of items at the very least. But no, it's a 2v1 now. Camille goes down. Justice is not going to be served today. Instead, Lightning will be beside helping with Axe. Focus is still looking to play aggressively here. This Karma is a powerhouse at the moment. Mid-game is where she shines, but the first Q doesn't land. Sweet Pea gets engaged on. The flash is too late. Sweet Pea still goes down, but Lulu does get a kill. Karma's still strong, maybe able to keep the chase going. Inko flashes forward for the double. They may yet be able to catch the Gragas, but Body Slam will be back. There it is. Creates some distance, a slow into Inko-sama, but Focus still has the chase. He whiffs to the side, but he's got the point and click. But here comes TNZ. Inko's life is forfeit. One honey fruit will not keep him alive through all that, and the Q whips again! No! Focus! JLao gets out! Man, 3 for 3. And that's what I'm talking about earlier. That's what I was talking about earlier with the Lulu face checking to the wrong bush. With now Focus whiffing on 3 Qs, one of them point blank. You've got to imagine there's some amount of just tilt going on here, some amount of strange animations. Okay, TNZ is on a killing spree. I don't know if you guys saw that on your end, but at least it just kind of stood there, didn't actually get knocked up. That distracted me more than it should have. But TNZ and Fizzy are going to be shoving in now into the turret. I think they can take this before the teleport even fully transpires. No? Focus on making any time. And focus on wave clearing minions out of the way as there's the entire Q. That time not with him by any means. And it's a shutdown to the Jinx, who's now got 3 kills under the belt. As I said, they really want the gold. But I think they're just bleeding too much. They're hemorrhaging across the map. Also, Angelic does need to finish this strike. He's got to have enough gold. He needs to be able to match JLao. Because he will. He will be more than a match for him in the end game. Camille sustains just too well, has too much percentage damage for tanks to deal with in the 1v1, but she's just too out-leveled and out-itemized at the moment. But Angelic Buster should scale up and should be able to deal with the side push from JLao. They've got a Karma and a Lulu, so they should be able to peel back for their Jinx and keep her from dying to just Olaf. The problem comes into play in positioning around the Orianna ulti. We've seen in multiple skirmishes now, Queen Aziri has been able to land 2 or 3-man shockwave. Any fight where that happens is a lost fight instantly for Supernova Prometheus. It doesn't matter that they've got this super scaling AD carry Jinx. Their composition is so tightly wound, so every single piece of this composition matters so much. If they get caught in a 2 or 3-man Orianna ulti, that's the game. That's, well, that fight at least, possibly the game, depending on how much farther this match goes. And the last secondary fire. Actually, no, this is drop lane, but there's the engagement from Angelic Buster. Bit of a tepid one, though, as he's going to back out. Hook shot, not a very long cooldown, though, so I'm sure he'll have it available again should he need it. This is where we'll see the game either break towards Mischief hard and fast as another turret falls, or we'll see Supernova potentially start to come back in. First we have the flank from the Camille, a two-man chocolate in the back line, but I guess the fight isn't over just yet. There's no follow-up. And actually, no, Flash forward from Winitzer. He's looking for the kill, but he doesn't quite find it. The shields are real. And I think they successfully held off Mischief. So there's still a good amount of pushing power here. They've still got to hold this turret. It may not be the right call to continue to try to hold this, though. They've got so many blinking health bars now. J-Lau can just force his way into the backline. Sweet Pea is gone, and their damage is gone. The turret will fall. And Supernova probably should have just backed off from that. They can't very well back off from this inhibitor turret, though. If this goes down, that is bad news. The shields, the heals, they get the Lee Sin out alive. But at what cost? Angelic Buster now chunked to half. A few more shields come his way. And they've got the composition to keep fighting for a while, but they just haven't got the gold at the moment. Angelic Buster has only just finished off a Trinity Force. 22 minutes in. It's very, very late. Newstund has had just such a rough game this game as well. 0-5. I mentioned earlier on that I wanted to see some more proactive play from this Lee Sin. I wanted to see more early game presence, but that window of opportunity has decidedly closed. And Asesh is only going to start outperforming this Lee Sin in team fights as we move forward, unless there's just a beautiful kick somewhere in the mix, which is always a possibility, but seems less and less likely. Especially considering that Supernova are really not going to be the team on the offensive. We're not going to see too many insect attempts given the current state of the game. But they do have a little bit of breathing room. Even after that turret falls, they have some time to recoup their losses, to regroup their team, potentially to gather again for another fight. They're going to have to give up this red buff. They do not have enough people here to fight this, I don't think. Jinx is down on the bottom side of the map still. Camille's on the bottom. Yeah, they have to give that up. A good attempt by Focus to steal it, but I think it had 1 health left when Lucian got it. So a very good attempt, but not quite. Close, but no cigar. No graves in this game. Looks like Mischief are looking to make a play towards the top side, though. And they can gain control of the top side of the map, and they can go for a Baron play, especially if they kill the enemy jungler. Newstund is in some real trouble. Asesh is rushing him under the turret. The axe lands on Sweet Pea. Newstund is still the target, though, and there's one more Undertow to claim the kill on the way out. The fadeaway axe toss. Now there's the engage on the Sweet Pea, who is gone in a moment. Shockwave only on 1, but it's okay. 2 of them are already dead. Inkosama will be the third to soon follow. And screw Baron, Mischief can take the game. They're going to keep shoving in the top lane. They can at the very least get this inhibitor. Death timers are relatively short, 30 seconds or so each. They may very well push to finish. J-Lau can take up the turret for a while. I think at the very least they get this inhibitor, big inhibitor, Nexus turret. See what they have. They back off with the second one. Angelic Buster coming to the back line, lands on the Fizzy, but not exactly the priority target. And he also doesn't really have a team to help him out, so he will go down, but his sacrifice may not have been in vain. He did stop them from taking the second Nexus turret, but he cannot stop them from taking the second inhibitor. Are going to back away, but you know, I'd be pretty happy with that situation if I were on the side of Mischief. Only getting 1 Nexus turret, only. TNZ interrupting the face from the side. Newstund realizing the enemy carry is a little bit out of position. He's trying his best to engage, and he's just so very squishy. He hasn't got the health to work with, and now Fizzy and Gragas have had enough time. They're able to rejoin the AD carry, and 1 down, 2 will soon follow. Man, if only Newstund were in a better position. Maybe if he had a little bit more health to make that play work, he would have landed a Q. Yes, Cortez is out of position, but there's so little breathing room for the side of Supernova, and any false step, any misplay leads to death. And this is certainly going to be GG. A little less bombastic and rambunctious than I expected the end to be, but one way or another it will be ending very soon. There's J-Lau engaging onto the Camille, and the few faltering defenses that Supernova still have in place will be crushed into bits. Cortez does make it off of the fountain, risking his kill streak there. Yeah. Nonetheless, though, will be Mitchell's taking home the finals in a decisive series of games. Both the semis and the finals were so clean from them. And that's going to be it for us tonight, folks. I'll leave you all with a short commercial break on the way out, as we do have some wonderful sponsors here. But my name is Octavian. I am usually joined by Effect Effects, but sadly he wasn't able to join me on the mic tonight as he's on a short vacation. But y'all have a great night. Hopefully we'll be seeing you next week. If you enjoyed what you were watching, tap that there follow button. We go live every weekend, every Saturday, and some Sundays, every Sunday at the end of the month for our Rift Cup. That's going to be all for me tonight, folks. From everybody here at Reverie Esports, have a good one.
Today, your connection to a game server uses the internet's basic default routing. Chances are, that connection doesn't follow the best possible path. And, if the connection encounters any kind of congestion, your performance in the game takes a big hit. Literally, in esports, if you lag, you lose. But when you use Haste, your game traffic is handled end-to-end on our dedicated fast lane. Haste is proprietary network software running on our customized infrastructure. That means we will always know the best routes between you and the game server. And Haste connections are dynamic, which means they switch routes instantly to avoid trouble, without any disruption to your gameplay. Haste gives you a competitive performance edge in the game and a defensive shield against problems on the internet every time you play. Sign up for our public alpha by visiting haste.net.